Oh, you already know what time it is, what day it is, what it is. What is it? It's Long Song Saturday. And for Long Song Saturday this week, hope that you guys are doing well as we're going to dive into The Sky Moves Sideways. I almost said Pink Floyd for some reason, but Porcupine Tree. I don't know why I had Pink Floyd on my mind. Anyways, The Sky Moves Sideways. This is going to be Porcupine Tree's third studio album released in 1995. A lot of you had recommended that I listen to this album, and so we're going to start off here with the first track, the title track, part one, since I see that later on at the end of this album is part two. So you guys have recommended this, and I hope that you're looking forward to it. Hope that you're ready to enjoy, imbibe, dive in, digest, and we'll talk about it a little bit. I'm excited to listen to this. We've listened to some Steven Wilson here. For those of you who are not familiar, I've listened to what's that album, Fear of a Blank Planet, on my own a long time ago, before I even started this channel, way before that. I've already heard that, so I'm mildly familiar with Porcupine Tree in some capacity, hearing a few other songs here and there. But I'm excited to dive into this one, some of their older material. Some that had recommended this album to me: Sylvain Milcent, Ariadne, GAC, thank you so much, Ariadne. Stephen Dennis, you had actually first heard Steven Wilson with their track Luminol, and a lot of people came in recommending this album to you. Marty Mead, Clive Crudgington, the list goes on there. AK, I think that you've recommended. Yeah, I see you there, AK. I got you. I see you there recommending the album as well. And the list just goes on and on and on. TM, RN, BM, Cotro, and it goes from there. So yeah. Oh, and Rob Gray as well. Thank you. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and dive into the first track. I'm excited to see how this sounds from their older material as compared to what I've heard of later Porcupine Tree and Steven Wilson himself. So yeah, let's go ahead and dive on in. We'll talk about it after, a little bit during probably, and that's it. Just go ahead and enjoy. Grab a drink, grab a glass, grab something to eat, grab a pierogi, grab, we're in a pet place, so you gotta say grab a pierogi, grab an empanada, grab something. Grab a glass of chai. I got nothing here, just the phone, the microphone, the remotes, all that stuff. So let's give it a listen. We'll talk about it after. Let's go. I gotta pull the lyrics up. This is all Barbieri. It has to be. I love a good ambient opening like this. It takes its time, sets the stage before the curtain goes back. That's a great tone on the synth. Just want to say that. Bubbles into a small little groove, very quaint. I love that little opening. Slide on the guitar. love the echo on the snare. This is a gorgeous atmosphere that they built up. How wonderful is this space? Just take this space right here. That's waves coming in through his body. I love how we're allowed to ride this. Listen to the guitar coming in. Wilson himself sliding on in. What a great intro. Okay, that was a really nice intro as it's segueing into its next part. Great stuff.
The skyline. We stepped right off the map. Drifted into blank space. And let the clocks relapse.
Ooh, who brought in the THX?
We laughed the rain down. Slow burn on the lawn.
Had to add in that extra kick.
Coast across the desert.
Did we switch to fretless on the bass?
Swallowed up the storm. Sometimes I feel like a feast. Sometimes I am the corner of sometimes it's only afterwards I find that I'm not there.
This is my kind of space right here. Such great movement in there. chord strikes are about to ring out, and almost like it starts a new musical sentence. And the band is allowed to play in those waves. What in the Streets of Rage is this? What in the Streets of Rage is this? Someone was playing their Sega Genesis. It's a bop though. Listen to that bass. That sounds like violin. This reminds me of like Osric Tentacles or something now. That's a nasty sound on that guitar. You hear all the extra drums on the sides, like besides the percussion which led this, like it's like beat drums on the side. That is crazy good. And they went with the back filter for the beat. To break it down and build it back up again. Dive returning with the acoustic. Some Mellotron? I loved that song. I loved that. Okay. This is headspace music. This is head feel. That strong, hazy head feel. You put this on and you just like let it wash over you. Just let it take over your mind for a little bit. Just enjoy its atmosphere. Involve yourself in its presence. Just let it absorb into you. Let it melt into you. That was wonderful. That's completely different from like the Porcupine Tree that I've heard. And I gotta tell you, I really, really like this style that I've heard from them. I liked everything in here. I don't even know where to begin, but I guess at the beginning, I really enjoyed the way that they brought everything up. Just immaculate melodies. So good. Allowing the space, but allowing the instrumentation to breathe within that space. Like, you have the big intakes and outtakes, or the big inhales and exhales of breath musically, right? Like those big chord strikes, but that would be allowed to ring out almost like the striking of a bell. Within the echoes of that first hit, I guess you could say, like you would hear little Barbieri on the synths and just playing with like different synths and keys and different gadgets and techno wizardry, or Steven Wilson himself on the guitar, whether throwing out this beautifully emotive line right behind everything, or some nice drumming behind it. Like, it was just a very nice setup that we had in the beginning. Like, a great piece of scenery. Love that. And the band built off of that perfectly. And then in the second half, there's a quick change. And listen, You guys, a lot of you guys, not everybody, but a lot of you have been on this channel and watched me long enough to kind of know what I like, what I don't like, right? Now, let's see if we can find that, because it was a little around 9 minutes, like it was like 8 minutes and so seconds. Let me turn the volume down, because there's a change from this glorious, mellow, like euphoria that we're feeling musically into something snappier, funkier, synthier. Like it changes, right? No, it's right before that. Right? Like how nice is this? And I mentioned it during the song, like you can stay in that headspace for a while because it's just so cloudy and floaty and, like I said, euphoric. But the change, I gotta find the exact moment because it's a moment. Hold on, it's gonna be annoying while I do this, but just bear with me. I went way too far. Okay, let's let it go here. Let's let it go. Right? Fades out. You're like, okay, where are we going? And then it starts on something completely different. Like you would not expect it at all to do this. Okay, listen to me. I'm gonna take you back, okay? I'm gonna take you back with me. Take a trip back, Father Tiresias, except Father JPCS. There's a very specific video game in my childhood, Streets of Rage, Sega Genesis. My brother and I played that game, specifically the second one, growing up over and over and over every single day. And the soundtrack to that game is actually one of the most notable and kind of underrated soundtracks in a video game. But man, the music that they played here, it is like directly in line with the soundtrack from that video game. So yes, I would say that, I guess you can't say anything objectively about music, but it sounds good, right? Like here, it sounds great. But I gotta tell you that there's a bias in me that I love that type of sound because they executed that perfectly. That funky, electronic driven bass line. Did you hear that? Boom, 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 boom. That's gonna be I think it was Edwin on the bass. Yeah, Colin Edwin on the bass. And then those synths echoing, just pulsating, echoing there, reverbing in the back, right? Main bass line up front. And then you have these leads that come on top of that. It is just this very electronic funk driven moment that goes on for pretty much almost the rest of the song. Not quite, but a good portion, right? Like the second half of the song. Feels good. You see how they put that spark, that energy in it. That is just absolutely killer, the way that they did that. Also, I'm kind of bouncing around here because I have a lot of thoughts and I'm just trying to place them where I can remember them. Wilson himself. I'm familiar with his voice, right? In, I guess, a more modern, recent context. I haven't heard him from this era. From, what, 95 I said that this album came out, right? 95? Yeah. I haven't heard him from here. And, honestly, I really like him here. His voice carries a certain melancholy in the way that he sings generally, right? He sings with a certain melancholy, I would say, and a certain portion of blasé. Like he's very even generally in his singing. And here is no different, except there's not a lot of singing in here at all. I wasn't paying attention to the lyrics, to be honest, but looking at the verses, there's like 4 of them. Like there's not a lot at all, 5 I guess you could say. And it goes by very quickly. This track is primarily instrumental. And I like how his voice is here used more so as a texture to get a basic point across. Maybe not basic in meaning, but basic in words. It's not very, there's a P word I'm thinking of, you know what I mean, where there's a lot of words. It's not very, V word, verbose. It's not a verbose song. But what is said with a certain delivery to match the music wonderfully I should say, and kind of carry along, like I said, that specific message, which we'll have to dive into when we look into the lyrics. But I really did enjoy how he was singing in here. Let me slide back to the beginning really quick. You know what I was also thinking? And let me know if you guys feel the same. The way that this track ended, I know I just played the beginning, but I'm going to talk about the ending. With the acoustic guitar coming in, some very light sprinklings from Barbieri in the back, and then it just kind of fades out, right? Just kind of goes away. Don't you feel that it was a little bit incomplete? Like at that moment that the music was on its last legs, that this track was ending, didn't you feel like, man, I feel like I'm missing something. I feel like there's something more to this. Okay, well, there's 2 things I gotta say. Obviously, and the most obvious, let's get it out the way, this is phase 1, and phase 2 ends the album. So, of course, there's technically more. I'm sure if I, listen, just play with me for a second. I'm sure that if we were to play just a couple of, like the last few seconds here, right? Phase 1. Maybe if we skip ahead, I'm going to do this real quick. If we skipped ahead to phase 2, we're not listening to it right now, but it comes back in. It comes back in. So, like, you can already get a sense of the continuity there. So, yes, there is something missing because we've only heard side 1. But you can feel when you listen to the beginning of side 2 already the connection. You can already see the lines being drawn in the sand there and connected. But also I have to say that looking at the actual format of this album, it's one long track followed by 1, 2, 3 small tracks, a second longer track coming in at 17 minutes, and then the final piece of The Sky Moves Sideways, which is 16 minutes. Obviously not exact, but it kind of reminds me of Shine On from Pink Floyd, Wish You Were Here. And it kind of reminds me of the format there, like the intro long song being a part 1, then you got some smaller songs in between with a nice flow, and then the end is the second phase, the second part of Shine On there. Like kind of continuing those same themes, you know? So even album-wise in its track list, it kind of reminds me of Pink Floyd a little bit. And I'm bringing that up because the music reminded me a little bit of Pink Floyd, which is actually kind of premonition? I don't know, since I said Pink Floyd in the beginning. Guys, this is how the mind works. Subliminal thinking. I made a mistake earlier and I said Pink Floyd when I meant to say Porcupine Tree. I'm pretty sure I saw this when I just pulled up the Wikipedia page and I didn't even think about it. It was just subliminal. But literally the first sentence on the background for this album says, "The Sky Moves Sideways has been compared to Pink Floyd's Wish You Were Here." Because of this similar structure. Wow, that's... I literally just said that. I swear to you, I don't read the Wikipedia article before I press record. All right, let's go to the lyrics, huh? "We lost the skyline. We stepped right off the map, drifted into blank space, and let the clocks relapse." So I think that's a very strong opening line. We lost the skyline. How did we lose the skyline? Remember in the Animatrix, for those of you who are or were fans of the Matrix, in the I don't remember which one, but it's there's titles to each of the actual segments in the Animatrix, but it's the second one where they're talking about the sky and everything, and how it was us that blocked out the sky, or the sun rather, and you actually get to see it done in the Animatrix. Morpheus said it in the first Matrix, but anyways. So I wonder if it's something like that, or it could be symbolism, you know? Somehow we lost sight. How? Who? Humanity. What happened? Don't know, but we lost sight. We stepped right off the map, drifted into the blank space. You know, when things are mapped out, we have the locations, we have the geography, we know where things are, but somehow we've moved out of what is known into the unknown. We've moved into the blank spaces there. And let the clocks relapse. So time not moving forward, not progressing. Now we're relapsing as perhaps a species. We laughed the rain down, slow burn on the lawn, ghost across the downtown, swallowed up the storm. Sometimes I feel like a fist, sometimes I am the color of air. Sometimes it's only afterwards that I find I'm not there. In the dream dusk, we walked beside the lake, we watched the sky move sideways, we heard the evening break. And then he repeats the lyrics there about he feels like a fist, the color of the air. Sometimes it's only afterwards I find that I'm not there. So he mentions walking beside the lake, watching the sky move sideways, and hearing the evening break. There's nothing wrong with that, you know. If you look outside, you can see the clouds move, you know, the earth is spinning, doing its thing, and the sky is moving sideways. Time is moving on, the day is moving forward, and yet at the same time, for as simple as that is, maybe we've lost sight of something. I don't know what it is. Maybe he's not even talking about that. I don't know. But that's at least the feeling that I'm getting in reading the lyrics there. I was trying to see if there was maybe like a specific meaning that Wilson or the band meant when they were speaking in here, but I don't see anything necessarily that says anything there. Anyways, this was a really, really, really good first track though on the album. I'm genuinely impressed because I didn't expect this kind of, I guess this kind of sound from the band, you know, because like I said, I have some familiarity of Porcupine Tree, and I wasn't expecting something like this. This was really, really wonderful to listen to. I enjoyed that a ton. So thank you guys for the recommendation. Thank you for pointing me this way and in this direction. I appreciate you. in case I don't tell you that enough. But what I do tell you enough is to leave your comments down below. You can, of course, follow me over on Twitter. If you enjoy what I do, if you enjoy the channel in any way and you want to, you can support what I do financially over on Patreon. As little as $2 a month, it goes a long way for myself and what I do here. And otherwise, press the like button before you head on out. Press the subscribe button if you haven't. Like, well, come on now. Like, what's wrong with you? And I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope that you enjoyed listening to this. I hope that this made you feel pretty good. Like, this was a nice track. I wouldn't blame you if you just go ahead and listen to the rest of the album, and just wait for me to catch up. I would not fault you at all. So have a wonderful one, guys. I will see you all later. Bye.